Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with co-host Chip. I'm going to tell you one thing. Crypto, no longer just an investment narrative. It is actually a power signal. We talk about that a lot here. And one of the things that we're watching right now is a realignment in real time where money, influence, and control are moving away from the legacy systems and towards something brand new. And legacy across the geopolitical spectrum, what exactly is it? Where are they going? Tonight, we are going to start digging in to the crypto power shift, and that does include XRP. And then we're going to zoom out because the bigger story is actually geopolitical.
In Canada, our old friend Canada is getting a lot of internal pressure. And really, you can't brush this off anymore. Why? Because Alberta is pushing back against Ottawa. Totally challenging the whole narrative of the country, the direction, everything Carney's up to, everything he's been saying, the long lines proven. At the same time, Europe's leadership and institutions are being put under a spotlight. And that gap between ideology and reality is really starting to become a little bit impossible to ignore.
That's right. Now, these aren't isolated stories. They're actually connected by sovereignty, borders, and legitimacy, something that the left given up. Apparently, there's an element of the old power that want to get rid of our sovereign nations. They want to get rid of our borders and vis-a-vis get rid of our legitimacy. Now, if you want to understand exactly where power is moving next and why crypto is showing up at the center of it, right there, dot center, you're actually in the right place, right here on the chain with Chip and I. So if you're ready to kick this thing off,
let's go.
Let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain.
Celebrate good times. Come
on. Here we go. Well, it looks like the Patriots made it into the Super Bowl. Easiest schedule. No Bo Nix. Just cruising right along until they hit the Super Bowl. They get their ass handed to them. It's gonna be like a reenactment of the Chiefs getting destroyed. I'm sorry, you're not gonna escape the NFC. You can pretend all you want. That ain't happening. But we'll see. See what happens. Welcome, everybody. Where are you guys coming in from tonight? Where is everybody? Good afternoon from New Zealand. It's already the next day. Ray, Punta Gorda, Florida. Good evening.
Wahoo.
Wahoo. It says Carmichael.
Let's get into this thing. There's so many things to cover.
So many things to cover, Jeff. There's so much going on right now. I don't think we can ever get to all of it, but you got to do your best. You got to do your best. And you know, it's interesting. You remember back in the day, Jeff, when we started seeing like this, a lot of these crypto, most of the exchanges started putting their names. First, the one was, I think, Los Angeles. And they paid like some crazy amount of money to put their name on it. You know, I think it was crypto.com. And then FTX put their name on the Miami Arena. Remember, for a while, didn't last very long, but about maybe a year and a half. They paid some insane amount of money to put your name. Well, it sounds like that trend's continuing just a little bit because we have this next story coming up where that's back on. It's a little bit different. It's not necessarily an arena, but it is related to sports. Now, if you guys remember, if you guys watch X Games every year, I used to love watching X Games. It's been a while since I've caught them. But this is Keith Grossman. Keith Grossman is the president of MoonPay, also a board member at some other various financial institutions. He says, today's a defining moment for MoonPay. Well, why is that, Keith? Well, for the first time in its nearly 30-year history, the X Games has granted naming rights. Oh, that honor now belongs to MoonPay as the official title, exclusive financial partner of the MoonPay X Game League. It's not a sponsorship. It's reimagining. Well, Jeff, is it a sponsorship?
I don't know.
Is it a pay-for-play?
What exactly is it? I mean, if you're going to somehow get into the X Games, then are they? I'm trying to figure this out. We got to dig in. What exactly are we talking about? What are they doing here? As the official title and exclusive financial partner of the MoonPay X Game League. So what do they have, a new league? Did they buy out X Games? Are they sponsoring X Games?
It's not a sponsorship. It's
financing it.
Well, Keith goes on to say that he grew up with the X Games, as did I, and watched it capture youth culture as it broke into the mainstream. What began as a counterculture sort of produced household names like Shaun White, Tony Hawk, Travis Pastrana. I don't know this last one. Who is this last one? Naja Houston, it's probably don't even know who that is. Eileen Gu, who was married to the Time 100, was named to the Time 100 when I was there in 2022, featured in this week's cover of Time. Under Jeremy Bloom's leadership, the renewed focus on athletes, teams, and continuity is poised to create the next generation of icons. The MoonPay X Games League transforms these icon competitions into a year-round global team-based league across skateboarding, BMX, snowboarding, and free skiing. This will deliver better economics for athletes, deeper fan engagements, and always-on storytelling for a new generation. Before MoonPay, I spent more than 2 decades at the intersection of media, culture, technology. The lesson learned here is simple. Enduring companies do not chase culture, they help shape it. This partnership builds on Ivan Hoddle's long-term vision for our company and reflects MoonPay's evolution from a crypto on-ramp into a multi-product financial platform built for mainstream adoption. In its purest sense, it's also a global stage for showcasing what modern financial infrastructure looks like when it's designed for culture, not just for code. And it does not stop with us. The platform unlocks a meaningful distribution for our incredible partners in the DeFi space. As we continue to build the MoonPay network and operating system with them, we could not be more excited about what's ahead for MoonPay, our partners, athletes, and the fans. Welcome to the MoonPay X Games League. So there you go. That's what it's going to look like. So I guess it's year-round versus like, the X Games was once a year, twice a year.
Yeah, I like the X Games because it was like individualized and they built up to it, and then they go participate whenever the X Games are, and you have the whole, they're doing other competitions, so maybe they're going to break it up. They'll have a whole bunch of little XGL X Game League. It's gonna be interesting.
Chip off, what up, Jeff? And chip off the old block. Chip off the old block. I haven't heard that in a while. That's been an old one, but it's
Off the old block.
but there it is. There's the
XRP from Detroit. Got more people
There it
from
is.
Detroit, which is
Just
good.
hit the like. Listen, just if you want to be like Daniel, just hit the like. Do what's right. Just go ahead and hit the like, would you please? I mean,
That's what people should be doing anyways.
gotta be giving
Come
good
in, hit
advice.
the like if you're brand new here, make sure you subscribe
Right on.
because we
You won't get the
some-
alert, but at least you might once in a while. We don't.
People are getting the alert now. It's going up. It's been fixed.
I know Moonchaser made a plea on one of the posts where I talked about being shadow banned. She said, please unshadow ban these guys. I don't know if that made a difference or not. Maybe, Jeff. Hard to know for sure. Hard to know for sure. No, but this X Games League sounds good because I used to love watching the skateboarding and the skiing part of it. That was like my favorite. And it's funny because Tony Hawk now, I'm like, how old is Tony Hawk? I think he's like in his late 50s. And he's still doing the skateboard thing. It's like, I don't know. At some point, you got to like stop doing the skateboard thing. You're just an old dude on a skateboard. You know what I mean? I mean, I still like Tony Hawk. He probably got rich off the Tony Hawk the video games and stuff. But I don't know if that's something we want. Hello. I mean, right? Jeff, how old is Tony Hawk? Do we know?
He's got to be in his 50s.
I'm going to say 57 or 58. Let's see what he is. He's 57. Look at that. Bam. Tony Hawk.
He's definitely. I love Tony
Hawk, man. Yeah, Tony Hawk was legend, man.
He was a trendsetter.
Yeah, he was doing stuff that everyone's like, whoa. And then, I mean, so many
though
people.
I never skateboarded. I was all into rollerblades. So skateboarding wasn't my thing. Rollerblading was. And so it was, similar but different. We'd still do maybe
You're never
crazy
too old. No, you really are 54. You're close, Karma. You were close. I sled and rides. Skateboard at 60. Go. Good for you. Skateboarding. Wow, what a badass. Interestingly, I used to do rollerblading. What we would do is we'd play like half court on a basketball court or something like that. We would get a bunch of guys together. We just play hockey. And it was full contact too, man. We wore pads and stuff, and you were rollerblading. In Florida when it gets really super hot and you hit somebody and you hit the pavement, it hurts, man. It's not like you slide on the ice, Jeff. We'd skate hard and we'd have so much fun, and it was a great time. Back when that was really big, I remember that. But I used to love skateboarding when I was a kid. There was like one skateboard park, and I like rarely ever got to go to it. I used to beg my parents all the time, take me to the skateboard park. I think I went like twice. Thanks, Mom and Dad. Appreciate it. It's like. But
now you look around the park; they're everywhere. You got
they're everywhere, man. There's one right around the corner from my house.
We had to make do. I was in upstate New York, Syracuse, and the hills. I was just crazy on the rollerblades. We had hills in Syracuse that
We had
were
ramps.
insane. I went down one of these hills one time into traffic, and I never did that again. I went down some big hills as long as I had clear visual on what I was doing. But the stairs were insane there. We'd have to make our own rails and do our own rail slides. When I moved to Detroit, still skated there. Used to meet up with a whole bunch of people and skate through Royal Oak. That was always a blast.
Yeah, Royal Oak was great.
A lot of cool things to jump over and jump on. And
Used to go play
grind
disc golf
across.
there in Royal Oak. It was a great course, 9-hole.
Oh, that's right. I know where it is.
It was a great one. I used to go across the street, that little convenience store across the street. They used to sell the discs there. I used to get some Gatorade, and then that was a lot of fun. Back in the day, I'd basically work a normal, 9-to-5 type job, tech company, and then go over there with a couple people from work. It was fantastic. Well, that skateboarding to me was easy. Okay, it was snowboarding that's hard. That's what I spent after like 45 minutes of spending it on my ass. And of course, it was a little bit slippery. I'm like, let me just go get skis, man. I went on skis. I'm like, this is so freaking much. And you feel so confident after getting off that snowboard and busting your ass for like slamming down and getting up.
There you go. I remember the first skateboards. There were tiny little skateboards. Those were great. Blast.
I used to do that all the time, man. Buy wheels for it, drugs, and all that stuff, and take them apart, put them together, sand them down. It was great. A lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. So let's, the 20th of January commemorates 1 year of Trump being in office. White House put this out. Thanks to President Trump, America is the crypto capital of the world. I will also stop Joe Biden's crusade to crush crypto. Remember, he said that on January 26, 2024. I don't.
Yep.
And then promises made, promises kept. President Trump signed the Genius Act into law, ensures that U.S. remains the global leader in cryptocurrency.
Right.
There you go.
That's how you do it.
That's how it's done, Jeff, just like that. And our pal Brian Armstrong, all of a sudden, you notice he's getting a lot of press over there. I don't know. He's like real brave all of a sudden. Not when the old SEC was there. He was like, oh, whatever you want. Get on the knees, please. Whatever. He bent the knee, whatever he had to do. But now he's like beating the chest out there. He's everywhere now. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm glad he's out there speaking. Most of the time I agree with what he's talking about, but I'm just saying it's a lot easier to be brave in this era than it was 13 months ago. So Armstrong put this, we need to make capital formation easier for private companies. There's such a high demand for such large private companies. Actually, a good example of how unintended consequences of higher regulation right now. Companies are basically incentivized to stay public for way too long. Companies stay private for years. Think about Ripple. Why would Ripple want to go public, Jeff? I mean,
that's right. There's no incentive.
There's zero incentive for them to be under scrutiny, 4 times a year with quarterly reports and annuals and being under the microscope of the SEC. Mm-hmm. And so when companies stay private for years, all the money's made by private credit investors. And when they go public, price performance often isn't that great. There's no liquid market setting proper valuations early in the life cycle. Eventually, you'll be able to go public entirely on chain, which will dramatically lower costs, reduce friction, increase access, and hopefully very soon. This is thought leadership right here. When I hear Brian Armstrong talk about this makes a lot of sense. You don't hear anybody talking about it, but this would be a huge evolving factor. And so, before anybody thinks it's a good idea or bad idea, you got to put it out there, Jeff. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think so. I think it definitely has to get put out there. Let's put everything on the chain. Put everything that's going public on the chain.
On the chain. Did you say on the chain, Jeff? Sound like you said on the chain a couple times there.
I did say.
Sound like you dropped on the chain there, like, with a wink and a nod. And what
I want it all on the chain.
Now, I didn't know it was Brian Armstrong's birthday today, but honestly, Jeff, like they put out this picture, and it's an AI picture, but I'm like, for me, when I look at this picture, this is what I'll share what it's. First of all, you look at the picture and everybody look at it in the comments. I want to hear from you because I immediately thought of something, and maybe it's because I'm older and maybe I think back, maybe I have a different reference point, but I see this and I don't think that's a flattering picture right there. Say hi to Brian Armstrong. Like, it doesn't seem flattering to me. You know what I mean? I mean,
that's
what do
Brian
you
Armstrong. It's kind of that's what he looks like. He's got the fun hat on. But it's funny because that's a legit birthday hat. It's not like, unless it was done with AI, but he actually took a picture. You can see a little strap.
Well, it is, Jeff, but I'm not saying it's not legit, but it kind of reminds me of the dunce hat, doesn't it? I mean,
a little bit, yes.
I mean, it's a little bit like a dunce hat. Look at this. I mean, look, there it is. Look at the dunce hat. It's like, why would you put him in a dunce hat? I don't know. Seems weird.
That's a birthday hat, though.
Yeah, sure it is, Jeff. That's a dunce hat. It just was a way to say you're a moron, right? That was the old cool way to say you're just a dunce. Got to put the dunce hat on. I think they give it to kids when they're like goofing off in school or something. See, right there, dunce cap. Exactly. Dirtbag he is. Fast. He's not on our side. He's not on anyone's side. I don't know if it's a side. Like I'm saying, he's all very cool right now. You know, it's just but it just reminds me a little bit of a dunce cap, Jeff. I don't know. That's just my take on it. I could be wrong. But it kind of has that sort of feel to it. You know, one of the other things that Trump did on the first day was he said he was going to do was seal the border. And I saw some stat that I think there's like over 50% of fentanyl deaths has been prevented. So you have 50% less people who died because of a result to have the border. Well, it's also because they're blowing up the boats coming in with tons of fentanyl. They just blow them right out of the water. People have a problem with that, but they don't have a problem with kids dying, unfortunately, you know, and a lot of times they're accidental or they think it's a different drug, a first timer, second timer. They don't even know what they're getting themselves into and they lose their life over it, which is pretty sad. But, you know, one of the things that I saw is, you know, do you remember Mayorkas was the border czar? And they had him, do you remember, Jeff, they brought him before they put him in a hearing and they asked him and they said, hey, why is the border wide open? He goes, oh no, I can assure you the border is completely closed. For 4 years, he told us the border was closed. People are getting turned back. Completely lied under oath, by the way. And apparently, they goes free. Well, one of the reporters from the Blaze, this is Julio Rosas, caught up with him. I guess he was strolling through an airport. For a second, I thought this was Fort Lauderdale, but I'm not so sure. But here he is, strolling through an airport, and he's asking him questions. Listen to this.
Yes. Julio Rosas, Blaze Media.
Oh, pleasure.
How you doing? How you doing,
fine.
sir?
How are you?
I just wanted to ask you how it feels to see that the United States has a secure border now that President Trump is in office, as opposed to when you were Secretary of Homeland Security.
Oh, Dolly Parton signs.
Do you have any regret facilitating an open border, sir? Border crossings are down 95%.
Huh. That's nice.
Do you regret allowing Tren de Aragua to gain a foothold in the United States, sir?
Unattended baggage is subject to search in section.
Nothing,
You
Jeff.
have anything to say, sir, about your time as Homeland Security Secretary?
He doesn't want to say anything.
Facilitating an open border?
Is that Chicago? Where is that? Nothing, Jeff.
Nothing.
Get on the. He follows them all the way down. This is great. He won't say a word. He shakes his hand. Oh, nice to meet you. First question. I'm not going to take questions. Border crossings are down 97%. But but that's not true because he told us that was safe and the border was closed when he was under.
I mean, it was a big issue, sir. That's one of the reasons why President Trump won re-election. You don't have anything to say about it?
He's pretending like he's looking at other places. Look anywhere but look in that camera. Just smile and
Do you have
keep
regret
walking.
about losing track of all those thousands of migrant children that were handed over to HHS?
Ooh, asking about the kids. Jeez. Asking about the kids. He's got no answer, Jeff.
There's a train somewhere.
He got away.
I don't recognize
How
where
does
he's
it
at.
feel that
I don't
because
either.
of
I
the
don't know.
Biden
It's
and
an
Harris
airport of
administration's
some kind.
policies, mass deportations actually gained the majority support?
He's still asking him questions.
I mean, sir, Tren de Aragua didn't have a foothold in the United States before you guys came into office.
Oh.
It's a pretty big issue, right?
Pretty big issue, you'd think.
So you're fine with how you guys handled the border?
That monorail. That
That guy should go down. For all of the people, all the deaths he caused, all the people that were killed by illegals.
everybody recognize that.
Did you recognize it? I didn't recognize it at all.
That for a minute might have been Vegas, but it's not Vegas.
It's not Vegas, no. I'm trying to see if there's anything you'd recognize. I didn't see anything that
There was a monorail. If you back up, there was a monorail. Maybe we can get it from that monorail. Back up a little bit. There, right there. Let's see.
So you're
Yeah, I can't. It goes by so quick. I don't know where that is. Anybody recognizes this? Where please, there's nothing. Ride.
They're taking it to baggage level. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know where that is. Anybody recognizes that? Please, people, let us
Please, we
know where
need
that
help.
is. But I thought that was fantastic because I think you have to hold people accountable. This guy he was lying. No, it's completely closed. No, and meanwhile, you got 20, 25 million people coming in.
Yes.
Insane. Complicit, part of the scam, made millions. 100%. Guys, the word is Yeti. Yeti. Chad says he'll pay good money to kick out of the chair in a fair trial, of course. Of course. Jeez. Some of the stuff you see in the chat is just too much. It really is, Jeff. It really is. And man, there's so much stuff. There's a whole bunch of things today we got to cover about voter fraud. But remember, Jeff, we were told there wasn't any voter fraud. There's no fraud. It's all
zero.
perfect. The 2020 election was the most secure election in the history of elections.
That's right.
Even though, remember, Biden had that gaffe. He said that they were into election fraud or they were committing election fraud. Like, he said the wrong words. He meant to say something else, but he said something totally different. And it's just insane about when you see all these things coming up. I don't know how you protect the next election because, I mean, look what happened in Virginia. And in Virginia, they found all these, discrepancies as well. Katie Miller, who's married to Stephen Miller, that's his wife, she said 15 states, Jeff, require no form of ID or verification to vote. Joe Biden imported a minimum of 10 million. It's not 10 million. It's a 15 or 20 million. They were given work permits, free housing, free health care. The Democrat plan was mass importation of voters. That's why they refuse voter ID. No longer a country if we allow non-citizens to vote. But just look, no ID all on the left coast. No ID, Nevada, Colorado. It's just insane. Yeah. Of course, the typical offenders over here too, the whole New York all the way up to New England there, Virginia. Look at this. It's just, it's insane. No ID. Mm-hmm. I one time forgot to bring my ID and they're like, I'm sorry, you can't vote. And I was like, shit, I took it out sometimes you take it out of your wallet.
What?
I gotta go back home and get my wallet to vote. I mean, that's how it should be. That's how it should be, Jeff.
Look at all the voter ID everywhere else, all the liberal states. It's really crazy if you really think through the fraud and deception that was levied by the left, with the excuse of COVID, which is how you know that either they were using something that we knew that the whole COVID rollout was a global phenomenon to topple the Trump administration and really try to elevate the Chinese at the time from an economic standing. China wasn't ready. Their economy wasn't ready yet, and there was a major shift that took place during that COVID period, during all the shutdowns. And China was the one economically viable country that was able, and there were a lot of different power shifts that took place, which was really interesting at the time. But the Democrats, what they've done to try to maintain power in the country with the mail-in ballot, which on its face was a fraud, that no voter ID requirement on its face is fraud. So just those two alone allow from all sorts of fraudulent voting. If you have no ID, if you're mailing ballots to just about anybody can vote. Plus all the other things they did state by state by state to stack it. Now all the things that are coming out that they said were conspiracies when it came to the Dominion machines that, oh, by the way, a company out of Venezuela. So all these things, and what we're just going to sit back, but look at what they've done. Like Rudy Giuliani, how they destroyed him, financially during that period of time. The stuff that he went through because of the Democrats, and they stick together, band together. And the one thing that we're seeing even right now, we're seeing the fake rhino, weak-wristed, quasi Republicans. They cave in to demand. There was another one that stepped up, and I think we have a video from him when they were talking about the shooting of that violent protester that was shot by an ICE agent because he was interrupting the arrest of a violent offending illegal in this country. These people are out of their minds. Absolutely. Tim Waltz, we have something compare, where he just, the stuff that they say is so outrageous that if it was in any other period of time, even the Democrats feel like these guys are nuts, but
Right.
nowadays the Democrats have totally lost the narrative. They're off the reservation. The only way they win, and there's so many people predicting big wins, by them, because that part's fake as well with the media. But the only way they win at this point is through cheating and deception. And now look at all the fraud that's taking place. It's unreal. They said we haven't even seen we're just seeing the tip of the spear right now. There's so much going on. It's going to be insane to see how much fraud is going to be exposed.
It's a lot. This guy Shallow Marks put this out. Senator Elizabeth Warren, when she ran against John Deaton, won Massachusetts by 676,248 votes. Massachusetts had 744,000 duplicate registrations. Okay, so again, this is the kind of stuff. If you look, I mean, it is pretty amazing. He pulled 40% of the vote, and she got 59. But I mean, what John said, if the same amount of people who traditionally midterms don't have the same poll as a presidential election, he said if the same amount of people that voted for him against Warren vote for him against Markey, he'll win. The same people, if they just go out and vote for him, he wins. And that would be incredible. But this whole idea of having these duplicate registrations, it's just stuff we know about. And there's machines flip votes. I mean, you're using, there's no, I'm convinced that the Democrats would probably rarely win elections almost anywhere these days. I mean, what do they stand for? They're against the American people. All they want to do is help out illegal aliens because it's their voter base. That's pretty much all they give a shit about. That's about the biggest thing. And then look at this one. DOJ's lawsuit against Virginia's election commissioner points out a registration duplication rate of 33% in 2024 compared to the national average of 12%, just among other eyebrow-raising stats. And then there's a complaint that's listed at the Justice Department. This is incredible. So again, what will be done about it? Nothing, Jeff. It's nothing. This guy says that duplicate rate for Virginia's on the registrations received, 33% were duplicates due to AVR, etc. Does not mean the applications resulted in duplicate registration. Correct me if I'm wrong. We have documented about 53,000 likely duplicate registrations on the rolls. We asked GRs and CKs if it's correct, and correct, and we see some vote twice. The VA DOE has improved its dedupe efforts. It needs to do more. Well, why would they want to do more? They just keep them in there, kick out the Republicans. It's insane, Jeff. There's so much going on with this. And then here's Georgia. I mean, this is just crazy. Here's Georgia. So the new EAC numbers just came out. Looks like Georgia voter rolls have become even more ridiculous. 73 counties now have more registrations than citizen voting age population. Fulton County shows to have 115% registration rate. In other words, 115 people are registered for every 100 legal adults. Fulton has 118,000 more registered voters than people who can vote. The Georgia Secretary of State tells us it's the cleaner voter rolls in the country. A little laughing emoji there. Pretty sure this is the real reason he's refusing to give our voter rolls to the DOJ. Note, the EAC only shows active registrations in the first link. You have to go to the second link and add in the inactive registrations to get the full picture. In Georgia, inactive registrants can vote just as the same as the active. Thus, the number is why it's important. I mean, what do you think of that, Jeff? It's insane, right?
It's definitely insane. I mean, the whole everything that's happening right now, as we start really systematically drilling down to see what has happened, the lack of, cleanup also, we're not seeing big moves. The other problem is that as you start going around the country in those counties, you also see activist judges that are going to sit on their hands and not do anything. So there's multiple parts to it. Now, if you go back, what year was it? 18, I think, where DeSantis was up against Gillum, And so that the outcomes, the supervisor of election, Broward County, it took a massive protest out in front of the supervisor of election, and having people finally go in and be able to push to audit and get the count and do everything. There was so much sloppiness, and they structured everything with a level of confusion in order to try to dupe and steal the election. Thank God for everyone. I was out there, but thank God for all the people that fought and were able to get in and actually get the audit, make sure that Gillum didn't win. And this is what they did everywhere. They orchestrated everywhere. They just have weak minded people in other states that weren't able to fight. And then, it's a whole different scenario. I just don't understand it. Honestly, the people in Michigan, they fought hard, but they didn't fight hard enough. They're out there. They put pizza boxes up, got massive media attention when they were doing the recount, and they just fought to a point. Same thing in Georgia. And we saw what happened, right? They just wanted to push the vote through. Same thing in Arizona. They had there was enough information and concern to show that there was fraud in 2020, just like in 2018 when we fought, and DeSantis obviously was the victor. Now imagine if the people didn't, gather in front of the supervisor of election, what a different state this would be. A disaster state, just like Michigan is, just like New York is, just like Virginia is turning out to be, and just like California is. It would be a mess. They have attacked us at every level. Fortunately, Florida, we fought back because we believe in freedom, and we're not going to allow it to happen.
There's just so much. And even if they say they clean them up, how do you know they don't load them back up? How do you know for sure? Nobody does. Well, here's a whistleblower. This is new. A whistleblower from Wisconsin. A member of 2020, I believe it was. There were 3 counties that had over 100% participation rate in voting, meaning that more people voted that were registered to vote. In 3 counties, nothing happened. It was like, that's an anomaly. It happens. And it came out in Georgia that over 300,000 votes should have been nullified. But what do you care? You have 2 Senate seats for it, and the governor race. Not the governor, it was the president, and 2 Senate seats. Unbelievable. And then oh my gosh, remember how that ended up? He ended up in a naked in some dude's house with with drugs and everything. That turned out very badly. Could have been the governor. It was down in South Beach, I believe.
It was
So here's the whistleblower, Jeff. Check this out. Listen to this.
Thank you, Phil. During the run-up to and on Election Day, I was working as a temporary hire at United Mailing Services, UMS, a USPS subcontractor in Wisconsin. I began employment on August 26, 2020 as a route driver and box truck driver. This meant my job was to pick up mail on a predetermined route and deliver it to UMS for sorting and metering. I would then take the sorted mail in my box truck to USPS. In September or October, I began to deliver mail-in ballots from UMS to USPS as part of my evening delivery duties. I knew this because there was special bins marked for ballots only. On one occasion, I forgot to retrieve the ballots for transportation and had to go back for them. After that, I always made sure to check that I had the ballot bins loaded for transport. On November 2nd, 2020, I noticed that there was only 1 ballot in the bin for delivery to USPS. And on November 3rd, Election Day, there were no ballots in the bin for delivery. One can imagine my surprise then when the next day, November 4th, I was asked by a senior USPS employee named Monte if I had forgotten any ballots the night before.
Sounds like Monte threw him under the bus here.
Monte explained that an order came down from the Wisconsin-Illinois chapter of USPS that 100,000 ballots were missing. Monte then told me that his post office had dispatched employees to look for the missing ballots around 4 a.m. and that only 7 or 8 were found at UMS. Based on my previous experience and habit of double-checking for ballots, I believe that to be a lie. The following day, November 5th, 2020, I had a conversation with a different USPS employee named Rachel, in which she admitted that USPS employees were ordered to backdate ballots that were received too late to be lawfully counted. I asked Rachel if I would get in trouble with my boss for those ballots the other night, referring to the allegedly missing ballots I discussed with USPS employee Monte on November 4th, 2020. No, you wouldn't, she responded, as long as they were postmarked for the 3rd.
Oh boy.
She continued, that's why they had us do that. I didn't bring any of this to the attention of my supervisors at USPS at the time due to what I perceived to be their hostility towards President Donald Trump and their evident contempt for the law. I heard those same 2 post office employees making jokes about taking mail-in ballots for Trump and throwing them away. I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm not a Biden supporter either. In fact, I didn't vote for either of the main candidates. But something profoundly wrong occurred in Wisconsin during the presidential election, and the American people have a right to know about it. Thank you.
Wow. 100,000. Just the guy was checking in, making sure he had the ballots, and we lost 100,000. Well, how many short are we? 90,000. Okay, well, 100,000 seems to do it. Like they were going to backdate these. They were changing them. It's insane. It's just like, but again, you can just do whatever. The woman who I forget her name, the one that was who pulled the suitcase from underneath the table with all the ballots and just kept feeding them in multiple times. Remember, they said there was a water main break. Something happened. They closed it down, and for 2 hours, she just fed the same ones through there. Oh, you're not really seeing that. It's something totally different. Well, she went to the White House and got a medal from Biden. So that's unbelievable, Jeff. How we doing? Are we ready to fit that song? We're more than halfway through, Jeff. We have that song ready.
We're already halfway through. We just got started. We do not have it ready yet.
Okay, well, we'll show some more things here. Let me go and want to venture into Canada a little bit here. I'm going to read this one here from Canada. Yeah, Canada's a lot of stuff's been going on with this. So Awaked Outlaw put this up. He said, things in Canada are going so well, in fact, that their most prosperous province, that's Alberta, on the brink of seceding. He says succeeding. He wrote the wrong thing here. Seceding. While Carney's anti-U.S. and moronic enthusiasms are flying the rest of the country into a mountainside. Oh, and to make matters worse for Canadians, Alberta is their cash cow, which essentially funds the rest of the country and is redistributed mainly to the provinces that contribute the least. Canada, unless they change course, is screwed. Now look at this chart. Look all the way to the left, that's Alberta. And then you've got British Columbia, number 2. So 244, what is that, $1 billion from 2007 to 22, dwarfs contributions from any other province. You got BC's coming in at 46 billion. And you got Ontario coming in at 41 billion. So that's basically what makes the money in Canada. Then it gets bad from there. Saskatchewan, 19, NU, 25, minus 25, minus 35, minus 86. But you know what the worst of them all? Remember the one that wanted us to see years ago? Quebec.
Yeah, Quebec.
Minus $327 billion. They're in the hole, Jeff. Quebec. That's insane.
Amazing.
So if Alberta flies the coop, that's not going to save this 46. That's not going to save them, especially to offset this mess over here. But,
right.
you know, Canada keeps talking big game, Jeff, nonstop big game. Like, you know, Carney gets out there and sings. He does the elite, you know, the total elite sort of messaging. Everyone's like, oh, my God, he's the greatest. He's a savior. He's fantastic. Well, here's Carney talking out of both sides of his mouth like usual. Here he is.
Pleased today to announce that Canada and China have reached a preliminary but landmark trade agreement. We have commitments under CUSMA that not to pursue free trade agreements with non-market economies without prior notification. We have no intention of doing that with China or any other non-market economy.
Oh, really? That's interesting. Here.
Pleased today to announce that Canada and China have reached a preliminary but landmark trade agreement. We have commitments under CUSMA that not to pursue free trade agreements with non-market economies without prior notification.
Oh, boy. I mean, you know, remember Pinocchio, the nose would grow every time they lied. You get it. Carney is a complete stooge, man. He's a stooge. He's a
Really,
stooge and a half.
he really is. Just from the name, he's a carny. What do you want?
Carney. Remember those the people? Aren't those the workers in the carnival? The
In
carnies.
the carnival, exactly. Yep.
Carney. That's why he deserves it. That's why he now. This Wealth Moose put this on. I think this is absolutely fantastic. This is when you know this is just all for show. It's all bullshit.
Mhm.
Listen to this. So, Carney's wife lives in the United States. The 4 kids live and they study in the United States. 91% of his portfolio is in the United States, has a home in the United States, yet he tells Canadians, buy Canadian. We can't depend on America.
Hmm.
You see the contrast there?
He's such a clown. I mean, every way you look at it, there's just nothing about him that is sincere. I just find it to be really amazing. The lack of it, the lack of sincerity.
He's a phony. He's 100% phony. When you get that ready
Phony,
to go, jump in here.
Baloney.
So I got a clip. So we're
Funny
kind of
guy.
going to hit a bunch of different countries here, but Japan, this is Naoki Hayakuda. He's in the government over there. He basically reveals that Europe will never be Europe again. So I'm going to have to, I think it's subtitles, so I'll have to read it for the people listening to the audio only. Let me just back this up a little bit, quiet this a little bit. But here he is saying it's definitely an immigration. I think the immigration issue may be the biggest problem of all the issues that Japan is currently facing. What I mean is, when it comes to immigration, and I say this in the legal department, once the number of immigrants increases to a certain percentage and exceeds a certain level, Japan will never be able to go back to the way it was. Once Japanese society and culture has changed, no matter what policies are implemented, it can never be put back to the way it was. The reason for this is that rather than thinking about it theoretically, we think about it from a functional legal. And look at Europe, for example. It's become obvious right now, some European countries are desperately trying all sorts of things to get back to normal, but it's just not going to happen. There will never be a return to the Europe that we knew. This guy's, thank God Japan is waking up. Thank God they got a prime minister that's an ass kicker.
Europe the Europeans are so messed up. They don't even realize how messed up they are. Some of the people have woken up, but the leadership has screwed up that the countries remove their sovereignty. Every single day there's videos like in Ireland, more and more and more people pouring in from third world countries. They don't belong in these countries, not in the volume. If you have people, you bring them in, they want to immigrate, you have an immigration process, they come in legally, and then they come to assimilate. That's one thing. If these people come in, they could give a shit about your country. They don't care about your heritage. They don't care about your customs. They're coming there to replace you. And then they're going to protest. And that's what they've been doing in Dublin, in Ireland. They're protesting, they're bitching, and they're moaning, and they're coming from third. Get the fuck out of the country. They don't belong there. They 100%. Need to be kicked out immediately. They need to round them up. And this is like, it's a horrible, thought process, to have to even go down that path. But the leftist socialists in the US, in Canada, and in Europe, they've put us in this predicament. That guy that was shot, he wouldn't have been shot had the Biden administration not opened up the borders and allowed all these illegals in the country. Does anyone think about that? Does anyone even want to give one moment thought to the fact that the ICE agents are putting their lives on the lines now because of the fact that the Biden administration has allowed our borders to be flooded? And now these people are going to come out. Paid protesters are flooding into the streets to protest, to impede the arrest of these illegals that are violent offenders. And they're going to come out and protest. And that one guy came out to protest with a gun, and he pulled the gun out. If he kept it concealed in his pants, that would be one thing. But he decided that in front of the ICE agents, he was going to pull the gun out of his waistband. And so he pulls the gun out. He has it clearly in his hand. There's multiple videos showing it. The fake media, the three-letter medias and the leftists are going to twist every single narrative like they do, but there's enough video to show that he had it in his hand, and that's enough right there. He wouldn't have been shot but for that, if he didn't have to take the gun out, and he wouldn't have been shot if he didn't go there. He shouldn't have brought the gun to begin with. And it's just the whole thing is spun so out of control. But what Japan is going through also, we have to face in our country. Japan's facing in their country. Every country, because of these leftists, they're flooding the borders with these people that want to change the fundamental structure. That's it. They want to give them a taste of the West. Why doesn't anyone try to develop their countries? Why is that happening? It's just everything is so ass backwards, and it's got to change. We can't continue going down the path. It's so crazy.
Yeah, because it's absolutely 100% horrible. It's ridiculous, Jeff.
Yeah.
The whole thing is absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, part of it is why is he resisting? Why do you have to? Why do you have 5 agents say, okay, put your hands above your head and lay on the ground? Right. No, they always got to resist. When they're asked to get out of the car, no, they're not going to get out of the car. It's like, why? I mean, don't you remember the thing that Chris Rock did a bunch of years ago? Was it Chris Rock or was it? Yeah, he was talking about how to not get shot. He did that skill, how to not get shot. Listen to what they tell you. That's one of the first things, the orders that you tell us.
Right. That would indicate the leftards accept account. Right. They won't accept accountability for it because it's part of their plan. They also have realized that the first generation, the first group, it's short term for them because they also operate under a false premise that the second generation that are here are automatically going to vote for Democrats. Because look at what's going on within the Latin community, the Latin American community, people coming, from Venezuela and Colombia and Cuba. And all the, you think they're going to continue voting Democrat?
No.
No way. I don't care how many, and so their whole fake narrative of what was it? Latinx? I don't even know what Latinx even means.
I'll tell you what it
was like they somehow brought Mexico. It's all fake. It was like,
let me explain it to you. In Spanish, in Spanish, very much like Italian, you have feminine and you have masculine words. Right. La, el, right, el for or you have la, like it's it's feminine, or they try to basically make it non-gender. They basically try to change the entire Spanish language by making it non-gender specific. Is that what? That's exactly what it was. And they're like, and they notice they stopped it because they're like, this is stupid. This doesn't make any sense. You're not going to change our language. It's the whole gender thing. Well, why is it masculine or female, right? Because some things, that was the hardest thing for me learning Spanish, like the words ending in an A or an O or the L or A, this whole thing was like, oh, it's masculine or feminine. And they're like, no, it's Latin X. We're gonna substitute the X, and it was just stupid shit like that. It's complete morons, Jeff. Complete.
Hey, Chip, how many Yetis do we have, by the way?
We only have 6, Jeff.
6. All right. I've got an audio song then for that.
All right, let's do it.
We're giving away a Guardian, by the way, so at least I'll put him up on the screen.
So yes.
No audio, but look at him. This is a Guardian. The Guardians are kick-ass. So the Guardians guard the elders. There's only 7 elders in the white tribe. 7 elders. When an elder dies, and they live a long time, but when the elder dies, the eldest Guardian replaces the elder.
See how that works?
Because there's always story. 7.
It's a whole crazy story we have, Jeff. It goes really deep. We're just skimming the top of it. See how much time Jeff and I invested in this? Way too much time.
Our story, super deep. But
let's get into
there's a lot of
the voting system and everything else. My God, Jeff, it runs so deep.
And the thing is that the blue tribe doesn't have elders because they're more kind of a republic. They don't follow the same trend, but the 7 of the white tribe, the 7 Guardian. Anyhow, all right. Or in the 7 elders. But here's the song for the giveaway tonight. So get your Yeti ready. Get everything
Yeti ready. Ready,
your Yeti ready. Are you
crazy little thing called Yeti?
Here we go.
Let's do it.
Oh yeah.
moving through the weight of the age, feet set in stone where the hours don't change. I stay open when the daylight dims, holding the edge where the mist falling. Every breath pulls a path through the now. Every step is an oath we don't speak out loud. We stand to watch while the seasons bend, knowing one day the circle will end. When an elder rises beyond the flame, the sea goes quiet, the watch remains. Oldest guardian is now his time. Lord moves in, word heavy, deep memory stack. The silence speaks, not a loss, not an end, a bend. Guardian replaces an elder ascends. Yeah!
Starting over again. Badassery.
Badassery. Here it is right there. Beautiful. We're going to be giving that puppy away soon. Very soon, Jeff.
Look at that guy.
Look at that. Would you just look at that? Would you look at that? Would you just look at that?
Should look at that.
Just look at it.
Craftsmanship.
Remember that guy used to say on the internet, would you just look at that? Just look at it. Just look at that.
And by the way, this is number 7. Number 7.
Lucky number 7, baby.
Number 6 is the one that we reserve for all time because he is
number 7. Lucky number 7.
But this is lucky number 7. So you guys are lucky to get number 7. 7.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
Now, would you take a look at that?
Would you just look at that? All right. Here is we're kind of moving around the world here, but here's Hungary. Here's Viktor Orban talking. It's so funny how I love to see Hungary speak out against the EU. Also, the AfD party, which is the right-leaning party. Thank you, King. Appreciate you coming. The AfD party, which is the right-leaning party in Germany, but they've got some words for the EU. They're not too happy with it either. If Germany leaves the EU, it's over, baby.
Unity in diversity. So unity does not mean that me as a Hungarian prime minister should shut up always. You know, it's not written anywhere. So I am here to represent the national interest of Hungary.
Correct.
That's right.
And on that basis, I would like to make deals, agreements, compromises, whatever, with the other country leaders who represent their own national interest. So I don't represent the globalist elite here, or the European bureaucrats, or somebody who is just, swimming on the sky. No, it's not my job.
Swimming in the sky.
I'm standing firmly on the basis of the national interest. And I would like to make deal, compromise, agreements with the others who represent also their national interest, because Hungary first. Mm-hmm. You are from Germany. I suppose for you, Germany is the first. That's right. So let's sit down and understand what is good for the Germans, what is for the Hungarians. You are big, we are smaller. Let's make a deal how to cooperate. That's European politics. Not to say that you should follow the unity, shut up. That's what you are saying. It's impossible. It's impossible. So that's the difference, probably.
He's right. Where have we heard that? Germany first, America first. Remember when Trump gave his first UN speech? He's like, every country should put their country first. Why would you sell it out to some, you railed against, and they're like, they're against the European Union? Of course. Who are these unelected bureaucrats in Brussels? Who the hell are they? And what do they have to say about it, Jeff?
Exactly. Yeah, what the heck? It makes no sense.
Here's the AfD leader. I don't know if this is in German or not. I might have to read it. Let me see.
Frau Präsidentin, die EU hat nichts.
Yeah, I do. It's German.
Let's see how fast you can translate.
Oh, well, it's on the screen, Jeff.
I know. But not everyone listening doesn't know. So
yeah.
Anyway, hang on a minute. Chip is going to translate.
German. So let's do this. So let me turn the volume down. Okay. He says, Madam President. Oh, see how fast that went.
You can't even keep
Madam President, the EU has understood nothing. Geopolitically irrelevant, economically even weaker, demographically catastrophic, yet still self-confident enough to lecture the entire world about more money for NGOs. Why? These stabilized countries you do not like? Regime change included. You declare abortion is a human right when birth rates are collapsing. You lament the global decline of democracy, yet in Europe, elections are annulled. Politicians are excluded from them. And people muse about banning, what the hell do you say? People muse about banning parties. You want to impose gender ideology in the entire world. Zero respect for national sovereignty. Zero respect for other cultures. As a patriot, I respect other cultures. I simply do not want them to replace mine. This is about what diversity is about. You do not want... Wait a minute. These guys like flying, man. You do not want diversity. You merely talk about it. You want uniformity. You want the entire world to dance your tune. That is the value of imperialism. That is neocolonialism. That's unappealing. That is arrogant. That is one reason why Europe is becoming ever more irrelevant internationally. What a shame. We do not need an action plan for human rights and democracy. We need an action plan for real politics, for immigration, and for reindustrialization.
Boom.
Slammed them, dude. So, I love what I'm hearing. I love what I'm seeing. All this other riffraff. Carney gave the best speech, the global elite speech. Well, you know what? There's a lot of people that aren't down with that. They're just not down for it, Jeff. They're not down for any of that. They just don't even care. Now, let's flip over to, let's see. Hang on. Where's the other AFD leader I got here? She's here somewhere.
They're good.
Ever. Thought I had her. Maybe I don't have her. She gave a great speech. I don't think I pulled it. Oh, well. Basically, she was just saying that if they win, the AFD party wins, they're leaving the EU. And what else did she say? They're leaving the EU.
They need to leave the EU. The EU is such a
they're out of the EU. And they're closing their borders. That was the other thing. And they're closing their borders for good. They want everybody out. They want to get, leave it and be done with it and just move it. So now to the UK, Jeff. The UK, we hear how they hate Americans, how they just really despise America. They hate Donald Trump. Well, here's a couple people talking about Americans from the UK perspective. Listen to this.
Hands down say that the United States of America is the best country I've ever visited in my life. And it's honestly where I can see myself living. I want to move there. I want to move there right now. Things that I saw, the foods that I tasted, the people that I met, best thing to ever happen to me. And I wish I grew up there because I can imagine that kids get a very good upbringing there.
Look how mental this is here in Texas at the minute in Austin, America. Look at all this here. Absolutely mental. You do not get this type of shit in England, honestly. Anywhere but England is better. Just look at this.
Honestly, Americans are so friendly towards us here. I feel like every time I leave the house with my dog, we get kind of, idle little chit chat with people. And as soon as they find out we're from the UK, they're so enthusiastic about it. They're so curious. They're really eager to kind of start building a friendship, and they're so welcoming in a way that I just don't think would be the other way around. When an American is in the UK, I don't think we take too much of an interest by and large. And it's such an incredible compliment. I feel so incredibly flattered by the way that we've been received, and it just makes you think about the way that we're perhaps not necessarily hostile to people in the UK, but we're certainly not welcoming in a lot of cases, I'd say.
It's only when you're out of the UK for any length of time and you come back in that you realise how fucking broken and how much of a shithole this country is. So I've been away for 10 days, took my girls to America, not been there for 13 or 14 years, and we went to the exact same place. In actual fact, I stayed in the same hotel that I stayed in 13 years ago. Now, when I tell you that the entire area is unrecognisable now than it was 13 years ago, and not in a bad way, in an amazing way, I'm not exaggerating.
I'm currently here in Miami, Florida, and it's made me realise how depressing the UK actually is. Here in America, in Miami, everyone is super happy,
you're in Miami.
Proud of their country, it's good weather, everyone's grinding, making content, trying to make money, become successful. There's no drive in the UK for that. Everyone's working Monday to Friday, going out on the weekends, spunking their wages, going to the pub. Whereas here, no one cares if you're making content, you're not getting judged, no one's hating on you behind your back. Everyone's actually just trying to help you.
American people are some of the friendliest people you'll ever meet in your life. I've been in Nashville now for 3 days. I'll get in a lift, I should say elevator. When I get in an elevator, oh, what are you doing here? Why are you here? And they just want to chat to you. And it's not even just like those little like awkward conversation areas like in the UK, you just look in another direction. Everywhere, like you walk down the street and someone will be like, oh, hey, where are you from? And being from the UK, that is something that you never ever experience. People want to avoid you at all costs.
It is absolutely crazy how the media will really have you believing that a place is completely different from the reality. And what I mean by that is while I was growing up, all I ever saw in the UK, the media coverage of the US was always bad, saying that the people are rude, that it's not a nice place to go, that it's dangerous. And all of that stuff could not be further from the truth. There was not one time that I felt unsafe in America in a whole 6 weeks, a whole 6 week span of being there. Everybody I met was friendly. Everybody I met wanted to have a nice chat. The scenery, don't even get me started on how ridiculously beautiful America is.
Americans, we are in San Francisco.
Even though we were warned by a lot of people not to come here.
And I don't really understand why people were warning us and telling us not to come here, because this place...
It's really, really beautiful. Like
It got so dirty.
Houses, everything just looks so charming and really picturesque.
This, honestly, must be one of the most beautiful cities I have ever been to. Seriously, it is incredible.
So I've just returned to the UK from a wonderful trip. I'm super lucky. I've been away. But it's that fear back to the reality of the UK that makes the return so bad because, you know, on arrival back, so I flew into Stansted and it was disorganised chaos. The minute literally as I stepped off the plane, you knew I was back in the UK. There were, you know how we love a bit of tape here to tape off areas. You know, you make your way through the slalom of tape everywhere. It was chaos getting off the plane. You know, the stairs didn't arrive, nothing worked. Both the escalators were out. So everyone was having to go up the stairs. You know, you got old people struggling with luggage. And I just thought, wow, really back in the UK where nothing works.
USA core. It wouldn't be a USA neighborhood without USA flags.
Yeah.
Draped.
That's the one thing they
on every
all talk about.
Porch.
They don't do that over there in the UK.
Mine's all 24/7.
Yeah, they don't put their flags out.
Eyes Wine and I, in the chat here, we stopped by and got a breakfast burrito at one of the. There's like a little chain. The guy that owns the chain was we were talking, and he said something about he's got to take his 6 Trump flags down. He's going to replace them with at the time it was like Mardi Gras or something, right? And the guy says, like, excuse me, did you say you had 6 flags? He goes, yeah, they're all over his house. So he's got 6 flagpoles. He's got the old traditional, you know, kind of big porch, you know, that wraps around. And he says, I got 6. Did I hear you right? 6 flags? And it turns out this is the owner of all the chain of the place we always go to and eat. And he like introduced himself. We're like, okay, that's you. That's the guy. And he goes, yeah. And he was saying that, you know, he went on to say something about, oh, I'm thinking about putting a giant flag out in front. What do you think about that? We're like, hell yeah, do it. Put a flag on the door. He goes, this is an American-owned business. A lot of these chains are no longer American-owned. I'm like, hell yeah, man. Put a flag. I mean, you got to do the whole thing, right? So there you go.
Great idea. I like it.
8. Okay, there you go. 8, 6, whatever. I was thinking about 6 flags in the park. But that's it. That's how it goes, Jeff.
That's
right. That's how it goes. We're right at an hour right here, Jeff. You believe that?
An hour.
Jeez, how did that happen? How did it happen?
I don't know. Time flies.
Nobody.
I don't know how the time flew. I feel like we haven't even covered any topics.
We really didn't get in anything deep. There's so much we pulled that we didn't even get to.
No, there was a ton of good stuff.
I wanted to put Scott Libido. I wanted to end it with Scott Libido because he's great. He's an artist, but he's also a hardcore conservative. So you know that Fry, that Minneapolis mayor, freaking beta male, goofy.
That guy, he's such a freak.
He's such a fruitcake, yeah. So this guy, Scott Libido, he came out after him. So I just love this rant. This is gonna be a place of your rant and my rant tonight. Here we go.
Okay, here we go.
I gotta respond to this wet soy boy, Mr. Frey, the mayor over there in Minneapolis.
Can you turn it up a bit?
Press conference this morning was begging us Americans to have some compassion and humanitarian.
Turn it up.
And we will be on the right side of history when our grandchildren ask us, which side of history were you on? You know, with all of this going on. Let me tell you, Mr. Frey, the reason this shit's going on right now is because of people like you that wanted those borders open, that wanted these sanctuary cities to allow anybody to come in here unvetted, not checked for diseases, crime, criminal records, pedophilia, rape, murder, drugs. You opened up this can of worms and you fucked everything up. All of you did. And now what's happening to some decent people that have been here for decades are being taken and thrown away when they were just here, accepted. It happens. It's leakage. I'm sure one of my ancestors from Italy swam over off the boat and didn't go through the system, but he assimilated and we let it go. We accept. But now everything's just chaotic. You opened up those can of worms. This is on your watch. All of you humanitarians out there. Let me tell you something about the right side of history, fucko. You know what side of history I'm going to be on? And I still am on? I'm on a side of history that wishes that this young lady right here, Jocelyn, was still alive, 12 years old, tied to a tree and repeatedly raped, then strangled and thrown in a fucking river like a bag of dead cats by illegal aliens, Mr. Frey. You know what side of history I'm on, fucko? I'm on a side of history that wishes this young lady, this poor homeless woman, Sabrina Kawam, nobody even knows her name, set on fire in the New York subway. Nobody helped her, standing there, burning alive. Look at the picture, Mr. Frey, and the rest of you fucking humanitarians. Nobody. This woman, I wish she was still alive. That's the side of history I want to be on. Who burnt her? An illegal alien. The side of history I want to be on, Mr. Frey, is the side of history that wishes hundreds of thousands of our young adults were still here and not dead from fentanyl coming over that fucking open border into these sanctuary cities. That's the side of history I'm going to be on, fucko. So you could take your fucking bullshit, humanitarianism, and stick it up your fucking ass. Like the rest of you fake fuckers out there.
Nailed it. Nailed it, Jeff.
I love that guy.
I love him too. He's a great artist too. That stuff in the background is all stuff he paints. But he makes it real. That's the side of history we're on too. You know, the side of history. Look, if they said the greatest thing that Doge uncovered were the 5.5 million Social Security numbers given to illegals, and we were told they didn't vote. What do you think they did with the Social Security numbers? They got licenses. They went and got voter registered. You got a Social Security number, you're basically golden, and they went and did all that. It's insane, Jeff. The whole thing is just absolutely insane. What do we got up here for that Yeti? Let's go.
What do we have? What's
That'll
that?
preach.
That'll preach. How many do we got?
Of course, New York. We have 7. Nobody else said Yeti.
7. Today. Wow. All right. Well, we're going to do it. And as a result, I'm just going to play the song while we do the drawing.
All right. Here we go. There's 10 now. Now people are waking up, Jeff.
That's it. It's the last chance. Last chance.
You have a 1 in 10 chance of winning that Yeti. Let's go. Is it going to be? Ooh, I say. Boom, the king wins.
The king. Look at that.
King, are you here?
The king. The king. The king was in 2 seconds ago.
King was here. King, we got to hear you from you. We got to say I'm here. Otherwise, we're going to have to redo it.
He commented 4 minutes ago. The king wins.
Huzzah, where is the king?
Oh, there's that bug.
There you go.
There he goes.
Aussie, oi. Aussie, oi.
Winner.
Aussie, oi. There we go.
And he just put his number in too.
We didn't even need a timer.
Nope, no timer, no nothing.
No timer necessary. We usually give a minute
timer necessary
for people to log because we never knew a time and all that stuff. So
rigged. It's all rigged.
It's all rigged.
I gotta log into the YouTube. Let me log into the YouTube. Hang on.
How do I get rid of this stupid thing? I don't know how I ended up with the timer in there.
Then I gotta pick up this thing.
Good show. Thank you, man. See ya. See ya. Congrats, King.
Wouldn't want to be ya.
Wouldn't want to be you, sucker. Sucker MCs. All right. Wouldn't want to be you, suckers.
All right. Now let me go over here. There it is. The king.
I like this. The king has it.
There we go. And you know what? We've given a few of these away over the past shows, and those people did not claim them. They still need to go in and claim them out of their wallet.
Look at this right here. They'll have their hand in the Somali fraud jar while they're yelling, "Oh, ICE, ICE, ICE is the problem." There's Frey, there's Waltz, there's the A.G. Ellison, Omar.
And the name is Frey.
Frey, Jews, jerk. Look at this. You guys saw that guy climb the skyscraper? Man who just climbed the skyscraper kicks himself just seeing there was an elevator all along. The bee never misses. Trump has this really novel idea. Check this out. He's going to convert the entire city of Minneapolis into an insane asylum.
Hey, the king, I just sent it to you. It's transferred. It is now yours. You are now the proud owner of Badass Yeti number 7.
The Falcons aren't playing, dude. What are you talking about?
Falcons.
Seahawks. You got the wrong bird, dude. The Falcons are out. Atlanta Falcons were out. They don't even make the playoffs.
Falcons,
dude.
We're the Falcons.
On, dude. What are you saying? Good.
The king. Man, number 7. Can't believe you won number 7. Number 7. That's it. The big winner.
Did you see this one, Jeff?
Or the big winner of
Minnesotans are begin fleeing to Somalia to escape violence.
Oh,
Look
wow.
at this.
The king said, "Thank you, fellas. Mom turned 77 yesterday.
Nice.
We sat at table 7, and I had 7 wild.
Wow.
7 is a good number, and you just won number 7.
Well, just so you guys know, I'm born
you
on
go.
7/7, July 7th, 7/7. I'm a 7/7
Holy
dude.
cow. Really?
7/7, baby.
Look
7.
at all these
7.
7s.
A lot of 7s going around. It's my number, man.
Day 7th.
It's my lucky number.
And you know what? What's today? What's the date?
Today's the 25th.
The
2 and
25th.
7. 5
2
and
and
5 and 2 is 7. A lot of 7s.
7. Man,
Well
look at
played.
that.
Look at this.
Today
Trump
is the
disguised
day.
himself as a Muslim migrant, so Europe will let him invade Greenland. so they'll let him. Oh my God. That's too much.
Does that mean the king, if you say mum,
Mom,
is the mum?
Mumsy. He's an Aussie, right? Aussie? Is it Aussie? Oi. Trump challenges Nation. Trump challenges the Danish Prime Minister to ping pong match. Winner gets Greenland. Got nothing to lose.
That would be great. Could you imagine? How great would that be?
Now, if you guys grew up with Pop-Tarts like I did,
that would be
like I love Pop-Tarts when I was a kid. Not so much when I was an adult, but when I was a kid, they were holy, right? This is, if you guys grew up with Pop-Tarts, this is the funniest thing you've ever seen. Fellow Pop-Tarts gather to bow down before the preeminent brown sugar Pop-Tarts. Brown sugar was always the best. Strawberry and like the regular sprinkle ones.
No. I've only had a few Pop-Tarts in my life.
Oh God, dude, Pop-Tarts are the best. Well, they're kind of sugary, but back in the day,
Kind of sugary. Back in the day, everything was good. Twinkies. Remember Twinkies?
I do. They're back again.
You can get them again?
They started making them. Somebody started making them again.
Really? Are they the same?
I don't know. I don't need them. But I thought they.
How about Hostess cupcakes? Do they have those?
Yeah, I think the cupcakes are still around.
Really?
There's gleeful weather about dangerous storms likely to kill everyone. They get so excited people watch the weather when you know. I was like watching it because see how my brother's doing in Texas there. He got a lot of snow and stuff.
Oh, it's cold there.
And so It says, what did they call it? What did they call it in Texas? I'll tell you. I have to show you the. Let's see. What did they call it? This is funny. So he sends me this video. Where is it? He sends me a video of some nut job. Let's see. Here it is. Let's see. Here's the video. I said, Dalaska for Dallas Aska. I go, oh, look at that. Then the next video he sends me is the picture of my nephew behind that car, videoing himself while he goes, oh, that's my nephew. He goes, that's your nephew. I was like, oh,
that's awesome.
I go, he's famous. So somebody posted that thing of him, and he's the one going down the street in the freaking.
I would do that all the time. That was the best.
I showed my wife. She goes, behind crazy. I go, are you kidding me? That's the greatest thing.
And you're on the ice. Oh my God, it's the best. I used to do it on rollerblades. I would do it on ice.
So much fun. 4 below in Colorado. Good luck, dude. Diabetes in a box. Yeah, but it was damn good back in the day. Happy Australia Day. There you go. Art on the lake. There's a 2-2 for you coming up. We got to remember that. Put that down. We got to remember 2-2 is Chad's birthday.
That's coming up. Let's see what day is that fall on.
Does it fall on a Wednesday or a Saturday? Or a Sunday?
It is not.
All right. We'll have to remember to say happy birthday.
So we're saying pre-happy birthday on the 1st, post-happy birthday on the 4th. Everybody remember.
Guys, remind us, please.
Chad's
guys.
Pre-happy birthday Sunday night next week, February 1. And if we miss it, post-happy birthday.
We'll just say, why don't you say happy birthday now in case we miss it, Jeff? Happy birthday.
In case we're a happy birthday.
And just in case we miss it, you never know.
Happy pre-birthday 1 week early.
We're the first ones, yes, to wish you a happy birthday.
That's right. No one else has done it. We are early.
We're early.
Brands.
That's all the time we have, guys. We'll see you guys on the next one. Chip and Jeff out. See you next time. Ow.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.